Afternoon, and a warm welcome to Juma Game Reserve this afternoon. Lovely hot day, quite a change from this morning, from the thunderstorms that we were having and having to come back almost immediately after the start of drive. Welcome to our PM drive. My name is Mark, and Seb is on camera with me with Tara and Final Control. And those were the upper reaches of a marula tree you're looking at. And my guess is that this must be a male because I'm not seeing any fruits developing, and I have noticed on quite a number of the trees that the fruits are starting to get quite large, and it's probably high time we started looking at some of those marula trees and seeing how the fruits are going to be getting bigger throughout the summer until they start falling sometime around January. But I'm not seeing any in this particular tree. It must be a male. Well, I don't want to waste too much time. I was thinking before I came on drive, I'm in desperate need of an elephant. The company of at least an elephant. So I think we'll go and find one. And have it made a lot easier by the fact that I know where there are some elephants. I haven't seen Ellis for a while. Where'd I put those things? Sure, it's a bright day today. The future's so bright I need to wear shades. I don't know how much anyone caught this morning. I noticed there were a couple of answers to some of my one or two of my birds or something. But anyways, we'll cancel this morning because we didn't last very long. And internet went down. We don't know when internet went down. I don't know if any of you saw Shivambalana with us, but I was trying to get back in the rain and actually trying to outrun it. I made the incorrect assumption that the weather had been coming from the south moving north, when in fact that particular storm turned in on us. It went east and then came around south from the north, so it actually turned onto us from the north. It does happen. We've had a number of those. They're normally deluges. There was a fair amount of water that came out of it, but it chased us all the way back to camp, and when we got back here there was no internet to be able to talk to you. I believe a few hours ago, just learning now on the radio, it seemed like Karula and Shavinzi were there too. We're on Zoe's Road, heading that way, southwest. And I say, today's one of those days that is, or has the feeling of a perfect or pure summer's day. The cloud's gone and all this moisture, there's a humidity, and with the humidity insects have come out of nowhere. Hope we can see some of them. For insects though, because they're so small, it's best to stay in one place. Find a tree that is flowering. And speaking of flowering trees, I had to do a trip to Hoedspruit yesterday, quickly between drives. And couldn't help noticing the distinct difference between the growth of the trees and the vegetation closer to the mountains, as well as the difference in what has come up in places where there were burns and fires. But just that so many trees, in fact all the trees that we have here that I saw along the way are probably a couple of weeks behind in their development compared to those trees. I mean, some of the apple leaf trees, the giant apple leaves that I saw along the Auckland Road and the road to Hoedspruit were in full bloom. You know, there was more lilac than there was green. I'm waiting to see that here, because in my estimation this season is perhaps the best flowering that I've seen in a long time, and in particular in the last few years. When I first arrived back in this part of the world 3 years ago, after being in East Africa and the Western Cape for a number of years, it was a drought, and I'm sure that none of those trees had flowered as best as or as good as they have rather recently. It's taken a couple of good seasons of rain perhaps for them to recover from a drought, to be able to develop the kind of root system that can gather the nutrients to be able to provide such a huge floral display. And we've seen it from a couple. I mean, we've seen it in the knobthorns this year. They started end of June, and even some of them have still got flowers. The tambutis flowered profusely this year, and their flowering was timed perfectly with the rains and the arrival of some of the first insects from those rains. Bees are here all year round, but they really got busy when the tambutis were flowering. And it was encouraging to see so many and hear. One heard them from 4 o'clock in the morning, you could hear them. And the other one was the wisteria. The wisterias also flowered more than I've seen them in 20 years. And here I'm yet to even find an apple leaf even coming close to full bloom. We saw the beginnings of flowers one day, a few days ago. I'll look for some more. Right now, I need to call Texan. Texan, come in. There's an animal. Thanks, Tara. Yes, little boy, I'm looking at you. What is he doing? Digging something up. I didn't know that. Well, duikers don't do the same as steenbok, burying their dung. So I wonder what he was doing. Texan, come in. Afternoon, Tex. I'm approaching your lock. Are you still within law? Copy, thanks. Zoe's Junction, Impala Plain. Okay, thanks. Herd of elephants moving past now, or rather moving fast. Now, Ephraim was saying there was another herd of elephants up on Sandy Patch moving north. This is a herd that seems to be moving north at a fair clip. Oh, there's a special francolin. Maybe I can't get it now that I said francolin, but you can still try and guess it. Yeah, go ahead. Affirmative. Okay. We'll find them another day for my list. Those were Shelley's francolin, very distinctive faces. In fact, one of the only ones, other than the Cokie francolin, that has quite a distinctive face. No, that's not true. Swainson's. They are distinctive. Anyways, getting back to the elephants. There are other herds moving north from Sandy Patch, and this is a herd that I don't know if we're going to be able to catch up with them. The Texan is saying they're moving quite fast, so this sounds like a mass movement of elephants. It'd be interesting to know if Betts is with us. Most of the day now was needing to speak to an elephant. And I was hoping that the level that I needed, or the urgency at which I needed it, would be proportional to the number of elephants that would suddenly appear on Western Gowrie, especially after not having seen elephants for a while. Here, I might be driving too slow if they're moving fast, but I don't want to go up Impala Road. Seen them across this road. You see any tracks crossing into Impala? Ah, it's a broken branch. How new is it? Old. And hello mongoose, shouting at me. At 2 mongoose days. That it could be so difficult to find big, huge, grey things wandering through the bush. Who would have thought? Text coming. Now when you left that in Loeb, were they already on Impala planes? No, I think they're across already. Thanks. I was right to go to Triple M, but oh, look at this little child. I'm not telling you what it is. Oh, there's an Impala running at full steam, and another female, and another one. Probably last year's hatchling, this one. A little bit smaller than my fist. Could be even a 2-year-old. They're moving around a lot now. So, questions@juma.com, put in your subject line what you think that is. Let me add it to my list. I don't think I got it. Now we need to investigate why all these Impala have been running our way. We're going to go and try for another herd of elephants. I have news that Karula and cubs have been found where I found Shivambalana this morning, somewhere there. But we'll stick around a little bit, just let the other vehicles go in, because there are a number of vehicles responding. I think they're just running to cover across an open area. I think. So let's try another herd of elephants. They came for me, but they didn't wait for me. Dwarf mongoose lying up in the shade. Okay. Gone already. Chicken. Bark, 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 bark. Gary. 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 Go. Gone, gone, gone. Can't go that way. Can't go that way. Even if there are elephants nearby. Alright, so we could carry on our drive elsewhere. Graham, are you with Globe or with England? No. Suppose the leopards are there.
Yeah, I know.
I was worried about was bumping into the leopard sighting when I didn't announce myself. And it seems like there are a number of vehicles there already. So we'll go up Aubrey's Road, we'll go, maybe those elephant were more, well, the other herd, the ones that were at Sandy Patch, maybe they are up at, or heading towards Sydney's Dam. So we're taking a long way around this leopard sighting, and who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. drive, we'll get that huge ground beetle. Coming to attack the gander. Not much that eats those. Not even sure if a civet would eat one. Sure, I'll see if I can find it in the book. Hello, Lewis. Lewis. 3 years old. 3 years old. Welcome to our drive, Lewis. Like the tortoise. Hope you like that beetle. I like those things too. Let's see what other little things Lewis might like. What do you like, Lewis? Sometimes there can be false starts to summer. Early rain can bring about a quick flush of green, and then dry days can follow that dry it all up again. I think we're beyond that now. I think the green has overtaken the brown, and it is now, well, getting greener. Elephant tracks. Lewis, we've got some elephant tracks. Although they're crossed to the north already, there might be more. They've all gone across there already. Hello, Impala. Where the babies? No babies? We'll come and see you on our way back. Right now we have a date. Date with the dam. Waterhole. Lake. Not really a lake. We call it a dam. D-A-M. Roy! Hello, Mr. Groover. How's the Carolinas today? Any hurricanes? I think maybe your season's over. Roy wants to know when I'm bringing the boombox out again. I don't think I'll do that again. Or maybe one of these days. Only I need a new part for my iPod, so I don't have anything to play. Or play on it. Plugged into an iPod. All elephant tracks are different. And that's very fresh. Entirely. 1 minute there were elephants, next minute they were all gone. Dave, they all flapped ears and flew away. Okay, we'll just head east a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Oh, hello, Darlene. Darlene's also got a teenager. We've got a bunch of people with us this afternoon, or your morning. And beautiful blue skies. Into a really beautiful day. But we can improve on that by bringing you something special. Contact sorry Tara, didn't get that. We had the other one in my ear. Banana Konalo Ingo. Thanks, Darlene. I also want to see elephants, and all I'm seeing are multiple herds of elephants crossing to the north. I've just seen about the 6th group of family group of elephant tracks that have crossed, and for some reason there seems to be this mass, I wouldn't say exodus because it's not like they're coming, but it's just there's a mass movement of elephants. So let's just do this northern boundary. We'll come back towards that other fantastic set of cats in a little while, shortly. I also need to see an elephant. It's not that I want to see an elephant, I need to see an elephant right now. And maybe the way nature works, the greater the need, the less likelihood, because these things are just supposed to happen spontaneously most of the time. It's a lesson to be learnt in life that one very, very rarely finds. The harder one looks for something, the harder it is to find. When you set out on a long journey looking for something, you often find that you'll never find it that way, that when you get back home to your own heart, it's there already, in a manner of speaking. However, one has to pursue dreams, one has to have dreams, one has to have goals, and well, further east from where we were, no sign of any elephants crossing at all. It makes me think that it's mostly a bunch of family units that are probably related that are all crossing over from the south. We might actually have missed most of them, but there might be a few more. So we're going to make our way back to the west and hope to find some of them. Hello, dear. Sure, there's elephants on the Manuletti boundary already. Okay, just a quick stop for a splash of colour on the green background. Lovely little bit of scarlet of the dwarf Scotia, or the dwarf bourbean. Actually, this little termite mound is inhabited by a number of interesting trees, including a lot of young jackalberries that are probably the offspring of this fairly large jackalberry. Not very big, but it's one that we should watch, because it's actually, I've noticed, and since I've been here, because it's a landmark. You can see it from almost every ridge, and where other jackalberries have come into leaf and they're in full leaf now, this one has only just lost its leaves, and it's going to be like that for a little while. Try and keep an eye on it until it's in full leaf again, which I suspect will still be in a month or two. Yeah, sorry. Okay, thank you, Roy. Gosh, another hurricane heading for the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, or for the Atlantic. Hurricanes that are spurned by the winds that turn off of the Sahara Desert and take with it dust that stirs up storms over the Atlantic, and North America pays the price. That's a planet in action for you. Nancy, hello Nancy, and Ed. One of our Eds. Chicago Ed. I was wondering, asking for clarification on the differences between tortoises, terrapins, and turtles. Well, by the way, did we get an answer on that small antelope from earlier? Oh. Okay, never mind. Maybe we didn't. Maybe the stream skipped that. Better data. Tortoises, terrapins, and turtles. Well, technically speaking, and it doesn't mean that anybody in particular is wrong. One has to remember that common names, the names that people call things, don't necessarily have to be scientifically correct, because they aren't really. Tortoises essentially live on land. Generally speaking, they pull their head in straight, they pull their legs in, they tuck them in, and they live on land. That way or that way. This way, I think. Go back to Sandy Patch. We're going to try and find an elephant. So tortoises supposedly live on land. Terrapins are supposedly those that live in fresh water, and turtles supposedly are what we call those Chelonians that live in the sea. But there are tortoises that are called turtles, and terrapins that are called turtles, and well, they're turtles that I don't know what they're called. Turtles. I don't think anybody really makes mistakes with the marine turtles. Anything in the ocean is a turtle. And of course, their lives are threatened as much as some of the other animals on this planet by the harvesting of their eggs on beaches where they lay their eggs. Can you imagine being a turtle and coming out of an egg is a tiny little turtle about that big, and you get into the ocean and you live for 100 years, but for the first 20 years or so you have to swim that whole ocean around the world and hide away from sharks and humans and all sorts of things that want to eat you. And then one day, after swimming millions of miles, you make it back to the beach where you were born to lay your eggs. I mean, just that in itself, just the fact that a turtle will do that, that it has the ability to swim thousands or millions of miles in the ocean and go back to the exact same beach, should be enough to put a turtle on such a pedestal that humans would be too scared to touch them. Yet we kill them, we raid their nests, we eat the eggs to such an extent that our children of today might not even be able to show their children a turtle. We'll be lucky if the children of today will be able to show their children a rhino at the rate it's going. But anyway, that's another story. We won't get into that right now because we're looking for an elephant. Just one to start with. Just an elephant. Hello Donna. Question, well, not a question, but Donna in Nebraska. Special day for Donna. Let's all sing happy birthday. 1, 2, delivery. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donna. Happy birthday to you. From me and Seventara and all the elephants. And having sung that and said that, maybe we'll be lucky to find you an elephant present. So far, all we've seen are trees going green, grasses growing. In the time that we've been out this afternoon, grasses have grown perhaps 0.3 of a millimeter. And it's time to find something. Hello, Kathy. Kathy Vickery. Kathy wants to know, why do we call them a dam? Gowrie Dam, Treehouse Dam, Twin Dams. The same way, Kathy, that the thing that a beaver builds is called a dam, where water has been stopped in its flow and a wall has been built and the water backs up. In my opinion, in my estimation, that is what constitutes a dam. A pond is not necessarily that which is man-made. We have some ponds. Ponds, yeah, I guess we call them pans. So, something landed on my hat. Dam, more because it's man-made and it has a wall, a dam wall. Oh, that's okay, I'll get out the way, don't worry. Hello. A lake, I would imagine, the lakes that I've known and the lakes that I've lived with and lived on. Oh, I've got a tail. I guess I better let him pass. Reeves. Should have asked him to get my books. I bought a few books. A lake is something much bigger, and I think a lake has got something to do with being on a river. I don't know. Technically, the difference between a dam, I'd say a dam is always something that is man-made. A lake is something that is naturally occurring, and it's large enough that it can be considered a lake. Why is the Hoover Dam and not Hoover Lake? Because it's got a wall. The Three Gorges Dam in China. However, why is Lake Kariba Lake Kariba? Because it was dammed up. Why didn't they call it Kariba Dam? How is station with Ingwe? I'm not sure if I copied that correctly. Okay, I have to you have to give up on elephants for a moment. Right, now we're going to find something, try and look for something else. Good leaves. Sour felt, nutritional in early stages of growth, as opposed to sweet felt, which is nutritional at all stages. Well, that is kind of true. That's why this is so nutritious at the moment. All this fresh growth. Once it matures, it's not as good to the animals. Okay. Looks like this is going to be harder than I thought. Maybe Tara, if you could find out from Graham where he left her and if she was moving, please. Yeah. If she was under any specific bush, under a quarry, he'll say, in a forest full of quarries. But I'm not seeing. I've covered some of the tracks of the vehicles that were here. Sunbird here with these dwarf bluebeam flowers. There's a close-up of them while I look around. Listen for a moment. No, didn't hear a thing. Okay. Yeah, the tracks that they came in on, and those were the tracks that they went out on. Basically, Karula left, and only Shavinzi was left behind. And we had little Shivambalana a little bit further up. We went looking for him. Okay, lying up on a branch. Okay, that does help. I wonder, see, I can't see a branch. Can you see a branch anyway? Lying up on a branch. Not to be specific or anything. Going to turn around and come in. This is where other vehicles had come in from, so I want to just see if I can turn around. It's so much easier seeing the vehicle tracks looking. Oh, there's another leopard tortoise. It's easier to see the tracks driving into the sun. If I go in from this angle, I'll see a branch that might be the one I need to look for. Thank you, Linda. In the cool Dallas. Let's squeeze through these worry bushes. Hoover is the dam, and above it is Lake Mead. Yeah, but Lake Mead, so is Lake Mead not joined to Hoover Dam? Or is it just the wall of Hoover Dam, just the wall of Lake Mead that's called Hoover Dam? There she is. It did kind of help saying that she was on a branch, as much as I might have sounded facetious, because coming in from the angle that they came in from, I had to just find what looked like to be the most likely leopard branch in the area, and that fallen tree seemed to be the one. However, I suppose we could go in that side, flattened worry bushes. No, we won't turn around in here either. It's too tight. Okay, I need to maneuver us around. Maybe if I can get around all these bushes, I ought to be able to. There has been a vehicle through here. It'll just take a while to get around to the other side and hopefully get a bit of view from the other side. No, this is a huge mistake. Very long way around. Cool. have been in here before because there's a tree that I spent time with elephants under one very hot summer's day. Could have been a year, 2 years ago even. Right, now, shall we go in there? No, we'll have to still go around. Might get her in there. Hello Karen in Arizona. Wanting to know who designed the elephant whisperer thing item cafe press. I think you might be talking about the one that Paddy Mulligan did. Paddy Mulligan from New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Ta-da! As we come through this little gap in the trees, we have for you a very special spotted cat. And I know I've been trying to find an elephant, but this will have to do for now. Hello, cat. Happy birthday to you. Hidden slightly. I haven't had a look yet. I just don't think it's Shivambalana because she reacted like Shivanzi. Her head is concealed, so we will have to move. I can try and just bend around, but then we're looking into the sun. What I can do is we can go forward and maybe get, well, she'll move too. She's going to get done. Come, little girl. Sure, it's her sleeping. It's quite hot. There we go. Almost getting a side view of her face. Don't know yet. Just that I think Shivambalana, I know that when we see him at first, his ears go a little bit flat, and he is that little shy boy that we know him to be. She's nonchalant like her mother. I might be wrong, because this cat didn't react much to us coming in or driving all the way around this tree. Tara saying Shivambalana, so there's the face down the right hand side. And I didn't. Well, maybe it is him. I didn't see the boy bits when he moved now. My problem is I only concentrate on one side of the face of these cats, and I should start concentrating on all of their body. I mean, we should be able to identify it just from a spot on the knee, or a spot on the tail, or a marking next to the ear, or at least both sides of its face. But I'm guilty of only really studying one side of its face and always looking at that side of it. I think you're right, Tara. I think it is him, little boy. I will be able to see. There you go. Definitely. Little dove. Perhaps he's getting more used to this vehicle and he's not getting so shy with us anymore. I mean, this morning he wasn't too shy with us, but it was raining and we had to move on. He did get up and move across the road, but the way we left him was positive. We just drove away from him when he had his back to us. So it's always a bit, in a way, a good thing, showing that we're not interested in what he was doing. And sadly, so far, I haven't heard any trees breaking. Thank you, MJ. Confirming. A dam is an embankment. Well, yeah, the definition of a dam. Anyways, that's pretty much what our dams are. Stopping the flooding of a river. An embankment built across the river. I don't remember all the details, but thanks for the official explanation. That's why our dams are called dams. Looks like he's getting ready to do something. Had a really nice spot to choose for the afternoon. Probably some of the densest shade. He's got a really nice tree. Tends to just form a little bowl where he's been lying. Hello, Deborah in Michigan. I believe you're a new viewer to Juma. Welcome. Hope you're going to enjoy your time with us. And Deborah wants to know how many species of parrot there are here in Juma, and do any people ever keep them as pets? Well, funny you should mention that. Well, I know we only get one species of parrot here. It's the brown-headed parrot. And one of the saddest things that I've seen in the last couple of days coming out of Mozambique are these wild brown-headed parrots that are caught and sold on the side of the road because people want to keep them as pets. And there isn't a trade in, or rather there aren't captive bred brown-headed parrots to be able to find their way into third world countries. So third world countries capture wild ones, I suppose, very much the same, hey Seb, with the African greys in Gabon, probably.
What about that?
That locals catch them and sell them on the side of the road. I mean, it's
To white people.
yeah, to white people, and it's Europeans and that are creating this market. Africans don't keep them as pets. Or black Africans, I should say. Where are you going, little boy? Can we follow you? It's cooling down. The shadows are getting longer, so there's more shade on the ground than there is sun because the shadows are so long. He's starting to wander around a bit. So let's just follow. We'll keep our distance. He might join up with his sister. he might go to, who knows. Let's see if we can see where he's going. Maybe he's just going to find a sandy spot. Oh, there she is. She's coming. Actually, maybe she was lying up on another branch and I just happened to find him by accident. Let me go forward. She's stalking him. Oh wait, she's coming. I don't know, we're not going to see much driving, but she's stalking him. She wants to pounce on him. Honing her hunting skills. I think he's seen her. Yeah. She's just behind the quarry and he's just behind this quarry. This is an awkward angle to film, but it's all I got. Oh no, she's hissing at him. Can you see him?
Yep.
Not really hissing, she was just baring his teeth. I mean her teeth. Look, watch this, watch this, watch this. Watch this. Oh, that's a bit of an anticlimax. Thought they were going to jump at each other. Hello brother, hello sister. Probably been apart from each other because they don't need body contact in the heat of the day. It's the last thing you want when it's very, very hot. And do I need to move a little bit just for this quarry? But now that it's cooling down, they can get together and keep each other company, wait for Mum. She was here earlier. She might have gone up for some water at Sydney's dam. It's quite a strong possibility she's going to catch something for dinner. And we'll just have to see what happens from here. A rare opportunity to see more than one leopard. Any chance that we get is a wonderful thing. You know, leopard is supposedly so solitary, and we often get to see 3 at the same time, so even just seeing 2 together, so many spots, is very, very, very special.
We're gonna have to go a bit
Forward again because she's gone to lay down. What they're lying in is a little dried up pan, very small mud wallow. Would have started off a long time ago as maybe just a hole where elephants had dug up some roots. That's about the limit to where I can go, right up against the quarry bush, but I think that's a clear view of her. Hello Becky. Wanting to know if leopards get hairballs like domestic cats. And I have to be honest, Becky, I've been watching leopard, I've been with leopard for perhaps more than half my life. Not every day obviously, but I have observed them a lot. And I've never seen it. What I have noticed is all the hair that maybe that comes up from molting and licking, and I'm sure that they're probably molting. You can see they've still got a lot of baby fur, and as they grow into their into their second year actually, completing their first year, they'll start losing some of that baby fur perhaps. And some of it will come off when they're licking, but the same as when they lick their prey, often they'll spit out a lot of that hair, and often you'll see chunks of that hair, but what comes out in the dung is a lot of what they take in that their digestive system can't deal with. And you'll often find hair in their dung rather than them coughing it up as a fur ball. Now the other day I noticed something when Tara was at the hyena den, when we were watching that wonderful interaction with little Teddy terrorizing his older Den mates. Den siblings. They den siblings or they denblings. Anyways, one of the youngsters coughed up something, and it kind of came out almost like a hairball. And of course Teddy proceeded to roll in it, and there's a jewel beetle. Doubt whether they were able to get it. It's just landed on that buffalo thorn. It's too small, too far.
I don't see it.
No, it'd be too hard to explain. If the leopard weren't here, I'd get out and go and fetch it. Hello, children. I can hear a lot of birds alarming. Oh, there's a ground beetle right next to him. Seb, can we get that? Because this is going to be a learning experience. If he might already know what it is. Black and yellow, it means don't touch. It's one of the Urkpisters, one of the ice squirter beetles, ground beetles, that has quite a strong defense mechanism. It has these markings to warn the leopard of, or warn anything really, not to mess with it. And it was running towards him. He woke up and looked at it. But it could be that he's already had an experience with it. She's also watching it, but now it's approaching his toe. Yes, I think it's must have just. Guys are talking about a lot of vultures somewhere. That was interesting, because you see normally a leopard will go for anything that moves, and well, Shivambalan is still interested. I mean Shivinzi, sorry. We're still watching it. But it shows you how bold that the beetle was. The beetle's not scared of anything. Actually moved towards him and intimidated him. But I reckon he's already experienced that beetle, because he didn't even put out his paw. He actually withdrew his paw and didn't want it to touch him. And it's kind of contrary to the way a leopard works, because normally a leopard will go for anything that moves. Oh, there's a longhorn beetle flying around. Oh, it's one of those rare ones. Sure. I can't chase them. Hello, Jojo. Asking if the whiskers on a leopard are used as a sensory tool. I wonder why those birds are making so much noise. Maybe a pearl-spotted owl. Yes, Jojo, they are. Any animal, mostly all animals have got whiskers of some sort. And very much every single animal that has whiskers, that is what whiskers are. They are the sensory touch organs or appendages, or at the base of the whiskers is a network of nerves that are super sensitive, so they can pick up all sorts of subtle signals with their whiskers. And yes, every animal that has whiskers, that is why they have whiskers. To some degree, even a spider has whiskers for the same reason, to pick up not only physically touching an object, but they can pick up vibrations in the air. Hello, Ginger. In Lancashire and Pennsylvania. Is it Lancashire? Is that where you... Oh, Lancaster. Lancashire is where you come from. Tara was born in Lancaster, but not in Pennsylvania. Ooh, European bee-eaters flying overhead. Lancaster. The question was from Ginger. After a really hard day at the office, TGIF and all. Isn't it Friday? I think it's Friday. Maybe it's Saturday. No, it's fun day today. But glad your blood pressure is also coming down. Mine is too. That's why I needed an elephant. Cats will do fine. It is extremely calming to witness the cats, and hopefully they'll become a little active in a bit. But how long will they still stay with Mum? Well, it's possible another 8 to 10 months, even another year. We've seen Induna still hanging around. Mishu came back for a moment, a couple of days. They might not move too far from Mom's territory, so, well, she might not, he might. We don't really know what is going to happen until maybe a couple of years down the line, but possibly another 8 to 10 months, even 6 to 8 months. It's only really when they're next to her that we see how small they still are. And Karula is not a big leopard, not by a long shot. I think just over a year old, when Misha and Induna were about a year or something, they were already taller than her. Let's actually have a look at my photos to see when it was, more or less, that they became bigger than her. I hope that also answers Davina's question. Davina asked a similar question from Illinois. Thanks, Davina. Hello, Marsha. Had an ad playing or running while I had the beetle on. That was a beetle, Marsha, not a cockroach. It's an interesting beetle, one of the groundling beetles and ground beetles. And yes, what makes it poisonous is its predilection for certain species of ants that have formic acid, and it reconstitutes that formic acid as a defense mechanism, uses it to spray its prey with acid. Not its prey, sorry, its aggressors. And while the leopards are while you were sleeping, while the leopards are dozing off, well, let's have a look at my beetles quickly. There's one of them that I saw this morning. When did we see that other one? This morning?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I forget.
No, wasn't it on the road just earlier on?
Was it earlier? No, yeah, I think it was this afternoon. See, I can't even think. The other ground beetle that we saw. I think it was this afternoon.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, these are all the ground beetles. We'll start with this one. Okay, they're also known as the caribou beetles. We'll start with this one we saw now. This one here, known as the two-spotted ground beetle. Now the acids combined with this, I've just read it again and reminded me that it consists of different types of acids and quinones that they spray from their abdomen. Anyways, this one is unusual in that, well, with those yellow spots. And then the one we saw earlier on today, if it was the same one, was the giant ground beetle, one of the giant ground beetles. And they're all mostly ground predators, preying on a variety of things. I've even seen one eating a gecko, a dwarf gecko once. They dig very large holes when they're mating, and it's a hole that you would think would be dug by something as big as a vole or a mouse or a gerbil. And it has this chamber at the bottom where the couple mate. Quite interesting, because there's some species of these ground beetles where the males have extremely intimidating jaws, chelicerae jaws, that are too big to be used for anything but defense or fighting. Okay, cats, it's a hard day's night, isn't it? And you're just sleeping like dogs. But when your mother gets home to you, you know the things she'll do. She'll take you to a kill and make you feel all right. Hello, Randy. Do leopards burp or get the hiccups? I would imagine so. I would imagine any animal is capable of doing so. Getting air into the wrong place and having to come back up again. Shavinzi had hiccups a little while ago. I'm going to be in seventh heaven tonight. I'm going to put up a white cloth at a light, and I'm just going to be inundated with insects, because I can see so many flying around already that haven't been flying around since last summer. So many wasps and beetles and things. Okay, we're going to sit around for a little bit longer. There's a sunset going to be happening soon, and we're very close to Sandy Patch, where we'll be able to watch it very nicely. Okay, so I think I'm going to need another time for that question, Mary Jane. Asking what makes a good guide. There's something walking. I'm surprised they haven't heard it. There's impala out in the open area. They haven't heard them yet. This is going to get interesting, and this is why we're not going anywhere. Hey kids, there's impala out there. Yeah, you notice they listen to me. But I saw some legs of something bigger. And I'm looking through the guarri bush.
See that?
Huh?
Check his eyes.
What was he looking at?
At
the beetle. Oh
yeah,
wow, look at that. It's going squint.
Yeah.
Sorry, you must have been torn with taking photographs and trying to get it on camera at the same time. Multi-skills. Multitasking. Hello, Ian from England. Which one will move away first, the male or the female? Well, Ian, why don't you start taking bets? Because I suppose it's a 50-50 chance of each. There's no way of knowing until it happens. There's no way of predicting that kind of thing. There isn't a set rule in leopards that one would move away before the other. Now I'm just looking at this herd of impala up ahead of us. They're not too far away. They're grazing obliviously. Heads are down, tails are flicking. Now, if this was a couple of weeks' time and there were babies, there'd be bleating, and the bleating would attract the attention of these cats so quickly, the bleating of the lambs. But the other thing is that Karula, having left them and gone off somewhere, might actually be tailing or setting herself up for one of these impala. So all we got to do is sit here quietly with them and see if something is going to transpire. In the meantime, I can't get anybody on the radio because I don't have my radio's not working from here. So Tara, they were talking about vultures somewhere. Maybe if you could just ask someone for an update, please. Aussie Dan. Saw the tortoise earlier. Actually, there was a question earlier asking which tortoise it was, and it's a leopard tortoise, also known as a mountain tortoise. But Dan's saying he saw the tortoise earlier. Do we get snakes? What kind of snakes? Gosh, Dan, we get a lot of snakes. Several different. We obviously get a lot more non-venomous than venomous species. Some of our interesting non-venomous species are things like the egg eater, the blind snake, eastern tiger snake, Mopani snake, spotted bush snake, red-lipped herald, brown house snake, African rock python. Gosh, there's a list, a long list. And amongst that long list you'll find the occasional venomous species like a puff adder or one of the cobras. We get 2 or 3 cobras. Thanks, Tara. Thought so. Some lions somewhere. Couple of species of cobras, of course the black mamba and worm slung and vine snake, 3 of the more venomous species. What to do? I think we'll still stay here for a little bit. We'll go and look for something else as soon as we can be sure that not much is going to happen here. Those impala are moving more towards Sandy Patch now, Impala Road. So since there are no impala lambs, these impala are quiet. And it's perhaps their saving grace that they are. They just need... Oh, okay. MJ's betting Shavinzi will leave first. Aha, those impala have just run and they're running in our direction. Are you hearing that, kittens?
Hearing what?
So I thought they might have heard that. Those impala all ran this way a little bit, but I didn't hear any alarm calls. They're all looking in that direction. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just saying, 'cause I'm looking through a tiny little hole in this guarri bush, and they were all grazing. They all ran towards here. They ran about 20, 30 yards closer. But none of them have alarmed yet. And as soon as they do, there's a chance these two will wake up. And then it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because that, I think, is when natural instinct will kick. Not instinct so much as curiosity and somewhat instinct will kick in, and they might want to try their luck. These impala females are a little bit sluggish. They're so close to full term. Heavily pregnant. Debbie wants to know if I got a picture of the no, Debbie, of the rare beetle. No, it flew past so fast. Well, it flew past. It did a little bit of a turn here, and then it flew towards the back of the vehicle and carried on flying. So I didn't even get a chance to blink. But it was a longhorn beetle, blue with these brown squares on it, a very pale blue with brown outlines to the blue squares on its elytra. Maybe I can find it for you. Maybe the big picture of it. Longhorns. There we go. The cerambids. There we go. Here it is. Known as the turquoise longhorn. This one. The longhorns are very heavy flyers, and they're called longhorns because they all have very long antennae, and they're very distinct in flight, as much as they are elsewhere. Okay. That one. If you want to, you can identify it, if anyone can. The bird you can hear. Sorry, do the leopards know what? Just had crowned plovers coming over making a noise. Do the leopards know their grand cubs are related? Do they interact? Well, yes, they do. So I'm trying to figure that one out. In other words, will Karula interact with her grandchildren? Well, I haven't seen that. Oh, there's a big reptile coming out of a hole, but I don't know if Seb can see it. I'm interested in trying. Can you see that reptile? Coming out a hole at the base of that log but underneath the guarri.
I might have a lot of branches on the way, but let me try.
Okay, that bird is now gone. Where it is, I can't see the impala actually getting closer to us now. So I'm still going to stay here for a little bit. I don't know if you can make out that reptile, but it'd be nice to get someone give me an ID on it. It's about 1 foot long. Yellowish throat. Aha. He's put his head up and something's attracted his attention. Could be because the impala are coming closer. They're walking past at a distance of probably about 30, 40 yards.
So one running just now.
Plovers are making a lot of noise. Ah, he put his head down. Flat cats. These impala are walking single file. Are they big enough to take down an impala? Hang on a sec. Sue coming? So if you can copy me, if you can go a little bit forward and come around on the other side of these bushes, you might get a better view. Alright, if you can't copy me, just if you can find your way in here and then you'll figure it out. Look, Shavinzi, there's impala. Are they big enough to take down an impala? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the lambs are coming soon, and I'm sure they might be able to take down a lamb. Still more impala coming. Single file. There, girl, there, that way, look that way. He's kind of looking in the right direction, but I think he's too low to see anything. But I can see them now in the background. I don't know how you're gonna be able to get in here. Yeah. Hello, Frankie in Oregon. Hello. Welcome to our drive. Do they locate their prey by smell, or is it only by sight? Not so much by smell. The predators here in Africa need to see their targets. They will smell. I mean, the thing about it is, if they can smell their prey, they will probably be able to hear it and see it. Hyena, on the other hand, are different. Hyena will locate things by smell. Lion can locate carcasses because they will. Well, you see there again. I'm giving an answer here that isn't wholeheartedly correct. In that leopard do scavenge, and yes, they will pick up the scent of a carcass, and they are likely to hone in on it. Relax, girl. Sit down, sit down, sit down. With what? Rattling. Oh, yellow-throated plated lizard. No, it's not a yellow-throated plated lizard. I don't think we get them here. I see in Lynn in Canada said rough-scaled plated lizard. That is correct. It was a rough-scaled. I don't know if we get the yellow-throated here. We get tawny-plated and we get giant-plated. Although I haven't seen giant-plated or tawny-plated because they're mostly associated with big rocky outcrops, and we don't get rocks here much. And these rough-scaled plated lizards are more associated with holes in termite mounds, and just like they are. This one is here with a log. Must have a very nice burrow in there. And they sit at the entrance to their burrow and they attack things that move anywhere within the vicinity of their burrow. They don't move far from their burrows. It's not on the list. It's not on the list. And don't confuse it with the rough-scaled sand lizard, because that is a name that is actually it's the ornate sand lizard, I think, the Eremius, because that is not a plated lizard. The plated lizard's a Gerosaurus. So it's something you'd have to write in, and it's something we will have to submit to Juma as a correction to their list. Hello, Laurie in Georgia. These plovers are still making a noise, so there is something disturbing. Something has disturbed them on an open area that they come from, and it could be at Sydney's dam, since this one is going back that way. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's Impala Plains. They're complaining loudly, bitterly. How many months is a leopard pregnant? And is it usually 2 that are born? It's roughly 3 months, and I believe anywhere up to 6 cubs, although I can't imagine how 6 cubs would be able to survive on 4 mammary glands. There's still birds shouting around us, making a lot of noise. And well, it looks like the situation with the impala is kind of going nowhere. I can still see some through the trees, but I don't think these children are interested. They're just waiting for mom to come back. Don't even know if we can see the sun through this quarry bush. Starting to get very red.
Yes. Maybe too early for the lens now. In a few minutes.
Too early for that?
For the lens, it's too bright. Let's try. No, I won't get it from here. Too many branches in the way.
Julie, hello Julie. Some names of some books. Tara, didn't you put some books on a website or on a blog or something? Tara just mentioning she's put some names of some books on her Facebook page with the ISBN numbers. Well, the Sassel Bird book is a very good book to begin with, as far as birding is concerned. I think Tara's got the Kingdon Mammal book on her page. She's saying the Scatology one, the dung book, she's going to put that one up soon. Hello Laurie in Georgia. Once again, I can't answer that question because I don't know. Will the cub stay through her next pregnancy? And something that I can't answer. They might. I don't know. What happened with Karula last time? Let me think. Mason and Duna were still around. I'm afraid to say we missed quite a nice sunset.
Yeah, I tried to get it from here, but there are too many branches in the way.
Yeah. I suppose I should have moved back. Laurie's saying she believes the female cub leaves, or the female leaves first. I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see. That's an unpredictable. Still impala moving around. Only meters away behind these bushes. Still grazing. Hello, Paul in Idaho. When will they start to hunt with their mum, or do they do so now? They have started hunting already, small things. They would have started probably from the time their eyes opened, they would have started chasing things. They won't go hunting with their mother. And there's now that, this is what I'm expecting now. I'm expecting a lesson to be learned in the next few minutes. I know I shouldn't be expecting anything, but there's a herd of impala close by. And these two cats, when they figure it out, are likely to go into full hunt mode. I think he's dreaming. His faces pulling faces in his sleep. Those birds are still making a racket behind her. And this is where they will learn. This is one of the those moments in time where an opportunity might present itself. They're still quite small. Although they are small, there's a remote possibility that they might be successful. And as I say, having to learn valuable lessons in life, that is the only way they can be learned. They're not as much of a taught hunter as the cheetah are. And even lion to some extent have to learn. Lion have to learn strategy. Lion, I think, also chase things from a very young age. They certainly chase each other, and they play. Their play is what builds them up and what guides them towards successful hunting, because their play is about hunting, developing those skills. They stalk each other and pounce on each other, and they give each other the death bite and all sorts of things. And with lion, what has to be learnt is the cooperative hunting, where they fit within the pride and within the hunt, and what their role is within the hunt. And all of that varies to some degree according to what they're going after and what the terrain is like and whether it's day or night. Right, she's heard something. Give her a yawn. You should have snapped to see if she got her canines. Can you imagine finding one of those canines that fell out? See, now she's getting up, and those animals might see them, those impala. Look behind you, Shivanzi. Tricia wants to know if they'll continue with their bond into adulthood. I don't know. It depends on whether they come into contact with each other. From what I've seen in the past, they don't really bond that as much as they recognize each other, but being adults, they are not as... Now I think she might see one because she's going in that direction, or they might see her. Now she's seen them.
Check the tail.
Yeah. And a tail that suddenly gets a mind of its own. I think she was heading off to go to the toilet. It's that time of day for a leopard to go to the toilet. And then we'll see if there's any vocalization now to tell her brother about it. She's probably going to turn around and look to see if he's watching her. Shoo, too loud. See, into stalk mode, and he's hearing her footfalls, and the sound is different to when she's walking, because it's slower. They're more deliberate placing of the foot, and she's going into stalk mode. Now, I can't get there. To be able to drive through the bush and try and follow her right now, unless he goes, then we can go through this little mud wallow after them. He's seeing something now. What are you seeing, little boy? Nothing. Go after your sister. Go and help her. If you knew about cooperative hunting, the two, you'd be able to bring down one of those animals easily. But they don't really engage in cooperative hunting. They're both likely to go for different individuals if they were to hunt together. I've even seen cheetah going for different individuals, not for honing in on the same one. And I've very, very rarely seen cheetah cooperatively hunt, but it does happen. I've seen brothers take down wildebeest on film. Can you not see her anymore?
No, not from there.
It's a pity. I don't know how I can maybe get out of here to try and see her, unless he moves. but I'm getting ready because he's getting ready, and as soon as he moves I'm going to be able to go through this little gap. It'll be a little bit bumpy going through that dried up mud hole. Come, Jivambalana, you can get your own dinner tonight. Don't have to wait for Mom. Not that I'm wishing the death of an impala, because I think they'll go for it, but I don't know how. I think their chances of success are relatively slim, but who knows, might be lucky. Younger cats have killed impala. I remember in Duna killed a young impala when he was only a little bit older than this. It was a yearling, I think it was. Right out near Gowrie Dam. Outside Inga's house. No, he's not interested. He is interested, he's not interested. You can tell by those ears. What's interesting is that she's probably still moving, and as yet she's undetected because the impala haven't reacted yet. I actually heard something dying this morning, beyond room 8 from us. That must have been what it was, and we're going to go that way soon, I think. There was a kill near the camp today.
Can you see her?
Thought I saw a little flash of white, but it might be an impala flicking its tail. Well, these impala,
Impalas are right there.
they're right here. I mean, I'm talking now maybe 20 meters from us, but he's lying in a dip, so he's not going to see them. And I think it's still going to be. They're still going to come a little bit closer before he's going to hear them in the grasses feeding. He actually might. Oh, there we can see them now through the trees, moving this way. Nice little gap. So far, not seen any lambs. Just behind this quarry bush in front of me. Patience, patience, patience. We might see the first attempt. We never know when it's their first kill or when it's even their first attempt at such a large prey item. We know when it's the first time we see it, of course. The fact that nothing has happened yet means that Shavinzi is still stalking, which is a good sign, because it means that she's learnt not to be too hasty. That's a very important step in getting closer to your prey. Ordinarily, cats don't really need to learn patience, but well, we can learn a lot from cats. We can learn all about patience. But youngsters, I don't know how many times I've seen young cheetah or young lion disturb the hunt. I even wonder if maybe Karula didn't leave them here on the open air, on the edge of the open area specifically, so that they can play with the impala, practice. Oh, look at me, boy. You gotta look that way. I think my heart's beating more than anybody else's here, because I guess I'm the closest to knowing what's likely to happen. Might be nothing. It does kind of remind me of Mishu. Sure. Finally, something got his attention. No, didn't. Not enough of it. Kind of just a thread, just a tiny grab at his attention, didn't hold it for very long. Maybe his brain's trying to work out what it is. Wind coming this way. Now he's starting to pick up something. There, you see, this kind of answers the question. Is that under the circumstances now, a breeze came in from that side, and I think he suddenly picked up on their scent, or maybe brought their sound this way. Ordinarily, they don't really go looking for something by smell, if you know what I mean. But I think it's a perfect example of a herd of impala must have a very distinct odor about them. I'm going straight towards them now. I'm going to have to try and move somehow. If we lose him. He's watching them. And got some good cover. Bonnie wants to know if the impalas can hear me talking. Probably. To them, probably just a monotonous sound. I doubt whether there's any need for them to react to my talking, or that they would react to my talking. Let me yawn. Try and move back.
I see she busy.
Do you? She coming back?
No, still talking.
Still stalking. Yeah, she's going for it. Look at that. I think he's seeing her too. Yeah, she's moved more to the right now. She's actually gone there. So far the impala haven't seen her. Okay, time to move a little bit. They must have just heard an alarm call. They're not running. He's trying to stay under cover. The ram has seen somebody. I'm not going to stay with him. She must be here somewhere. She's probably using this thick cover. The interesting thing is that she hasn't been seen yet, but he has. So we just get out into the open where the impala are. The ram has taken up best defense. Oh, look at the termites! Termites are flying. This is not the big pinnacle mound termites though. Small termites that live underground. They don't live in mounds. They just come out of holes in the ground. Okay, so they're all looking back up towards. So I'm going to just stop here quickly, because if we lose them, we lose them. But right now I want to just watch these impala. One of the rams has gotten everybody's attention, but some of them are starting to think that he's crying wolf, or rather crying leopard. His stance though, and he's given up. Maybe not too sure. Maybe picking up the scent. Especially if they've toileted at some stage during the day, it doesn't help to hide this in. Now the wind is coming from them, coming this way. Not wise to be in the thick cover though, impala, not in with darkness coming. You need to be out in the open, like these females are coming out into the open. Well, you see, I don't know if we could call that an attempt. Shivenzi was certainly stalking. She was keeping a very low profile and moving very fast, and she was still undetected. She probably had great cover between her and where these impala are, and that would be in one of these thick bushes to the right of us. It allowed her to move the way she did. Just go up the road a little bit and turn around again. Okay, I lost you. Karula's cubs try for a kill and then it went dead. Not my radio. There it comes. If they try, could they get hurt from the male impala? Yes, they could. If they try, go for him. I don't think he would try and defend. I don't know. It's behavior stuff. You can't predict what's going to happen. I don't think if they were to catch one of the females, I don't think the ram would come to her aid. But it's not impossible that he would. Although it's not impossible. And now I'm watching maybe a francolin. Or maybe still watch. I don't know. This might be Shivambalana in front of us. Almost on top of that francolin now. Mr. Franklin, and now you take the impala, you silly boy. Although he probably would have had better luck catching the Franklin than he would have had catching an impala. As we've seen him, he caught a Franklin the other day. We didn't watch him catch it, but we watched him eat it, and the fact that he was eating it is probably a fair assumption that he was on that caught it, because a small animal like that, when caught by a leopard's not going to sort of catch it and sort of say, okay, here you go, sister, you eat it. Or Karula wouldn't have caught it and say, here you go, little boy, you can have it. She would have eaten it. Radio's dead.
I can't open the eyes.
I don't really want to use the light. I know it's getting dark, but this stage I don't really want to use the light right now. There's the new moon. Been waiting for that. It's all new moon rain that we've had. Sorry, Tara, I wasn't concentrating because I was trying to attract the attention of a vehicle. I didn't want to use the light, but of course they are. It's hard to do things and I'll just stay here for now. Davina wants to know what makes some animals follow their parents and some. It depends on the species, Davina. Different animals have different reasons. I mean, most herbivores, they need to stay with their parents because they need to learn how to protect themselves. They're social animals normally. They need to stay in the herd. There's different species have different ways of dealing with their young. A leopard would be hindered if she had her if she had her youngsters with her every time she wanted to go hunting. They'd be a hindrance. So for a leopard, it's important that the youngsters stay behind while she goes off hunting or marking her territory or whatever it is that she likes to go and do on her own. And lion do that too, to some degree. Cheetah do it. All the predators really. They all got to leave their young. Cheetah to some extent at some point they take their cubs with them so that the cubs can observe the hunt, but for the first couple of months the youngsters have to stay behind. So the moon and Venus. I'm not seeing any sign of the other one, and I still don't know whether this is Shirinzi or Shirambalana, and where the other one is. Well, I think we'll make our way back towards, actually I don't know, maybe, let me see what's happening with those, now that I've got radio comms. Which station with Ngala? Okay, not copying. I'll have to contact you later, not copying. Loud, very loud noise from here. Mole crickets. Don't know if we'll get to see them because they're in the hole. Huge hole. The size hole that I don't know if I'll be able to get you to see it, but on a hole in the ground beetle. So what a sound. Symphony of crickets. Hello Marla, hello, just me. There's one leopard. I think I'm going to leave these children. If they're successful, that's wonderful. We can only find out tomorrow morning. Can't find the other one. But I want to make my way further east and go find something else. See what nocturnal animals we can come up with this evening. leave the little one. You know who it is, and I'm not shining the light. Watching these impala. How about child? Where your brother or sister is. Thanks for the entertainment this afternoon. We got to see a little bit of some action. Not much. A little bit of action and a whole lot of learning. Again, I have to take the steering column apart again, I see. What I've been waiting for. Warm evenings, you don't even need to put on a pullover or anything. Temperatures are still high. Wow, and termites are flying in their thousands. Odd mosquito out as well, that's been bitten on the ankle. Itching. And I'm seeing hundreds of eyes in a row, and they all belong to wolf spiders. I don't know if you'll be able to get that on. Oh wow, I have to get that. Pardon, too close. Lapping up termites. Yeah, this is going to be a difficult one. Is that okay? Yeah. Actually, it's eating very tiny ants. Very distinctive eye markings. One by one, picking off the ants. I just learned something new, that this frog eats ants. Shutter speed's pretty low. Maybe if I give it more light.
Trying slow-mo.
Oh.
Okay, it doesn't work.
Oh, too much light. Okay, look at that gait. Very, very small back legs. For a type of animal that it is. And it walks instead of jumps. Okay, just want to look and see if I've got it here. I don't have this. I've got an old book. And I'll probably have the old name because this is an old book. That's the family I'm looking for. There we go. Yeah. This one, I don't have an English name. But there's 16 different varieties of this particular frog, and but we will only see it now. Pardon? Oh, no, it sounded okay. Move out the way, Charles. We'll come back to your end. I wish I could show you these spiders. I've never seen so many spiders out. If I hold the light, no, it's over jewel. I know they spider. I know they behave that when the wheels come. I was looking to see a specific name. How are we looking? MJ, African bullfrog, not even close. African bullfrog is aquatic, more aquatic in the summer months, always living around water. This frog doesn't live in or around water. In fact, the habitat that we're in with the sandy soils is the habitat of this frog, and it only comes out on evenings like this. On a night like this, after heavy rains, it's still damp, it's moist, the world is full. Absolutely, I mean, it's like you can't find an open patch of ground. There is any number of different creatures running around on the ground right now, and a lot of them I'm seeing are wolf spiders, a lot of ants are out, termites are flying. It's the kind of night that all the little creatures are going to come out early, and hopefully we're going to see some of them. So we're going to drive all the way along this open patch of ground known as the firebreak, because not all the way, but a considerable way. Big beetle, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? We're not coming for you. Okay, it's not gonna land. It's almost like I've been hibernating. And I'm coming awake now because all the insects and spiders are coming awake. Oh, sorry, Teen in the Netherlands, what was your question? Is it easy to tell the difference between nightjars in the one and is we see one in the road, is it a fiery neck, and are you able to see if it's a square-tailed nightjar? There isn't square-tailed nightjar? Oh, I've never seen a square-tailed. Oh, I must look at my bird list. You know, Teen, I have always battled with nightjars. And in my opinion, some of the nightjars, you have to be able to see the bars in the wing and the bars and the colouring of the feathers in the tail, the different markings, and whether it's mottled or plain, or how far the white goes. And I'm always skeptical about identifying a nightjar just because it sits on the ground. I know there are some nightjars that might hunt from a perch, as opposed to, say, the fiery neck, which predominantly hunts from the ground. However, they are not easy to distinguish between each other just by looking at them. It's easier to have them in the hand, and that's, although it's fairly easy to catch them, I will never do that because it's just stress. It's probably too much. A beautiful picture of lovely evening sky with moon and Venus behind that. Okay, let me get on the radio and do some radio work. Stations left the lock of 2 Mapimpa and Ingwe on Sandy Patch, watching some mala. Open lock. Anyone with Ngala? Last station repeat. Oh, Andrew, how's it? Good, thanks. Is there space for me? Still the same lock on Mvubu Road. Pixie frog, no, pixie and the toad, raucous toad, are two different frogs. And the pixie, the small pixies are now called other sand frogs, I think. They're no longer under the same genus as the bullfrog Pixicephalus. They used to be Pixicephalus, now they are, I'll get it on the tip of my tongue. Tomopterna, that's what they are. Tomopterna, the genus for the sand frogs. But that was neither. Not like that mottled sand frog that we saw the starling trying to kill the other day. This one has got a much rounder, shorter, rounder face, and one of the distinguishing features about this little frog is the fact that it has such tiny back legs. But also that black eyeline should, I suppose, not necessarily be a giveaway, because there are so many different varieties of this frog, and none of them have a distinctive name, and some of them are plain colored, and that's one of them that does have some markings. This subspecies that we get here. Donna. Donna, 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 Donna. Isn't that from the 60s, Donna? You know that song, Donna? Donna, Donna, Donna. Snake. Am I gonna... Oh, it's an egg eater. And it's disappeared. I shouldn't have said its name, but I don't know if anybody would have got it.
It was quite bright on him, I think.
Yeah, I know. I must learn to just put the edge of the light on it, because the iris is so wide open to be able to see what we're doing right now, that as soon as we zoom in on something that is so light, that is the common or rhombic egg eater, or rather it was. And that was a frog that sadly got nailed by a car. There's another amphibian. Gosh, I told you, they're all out. Everything is out tonight. Now, Donna was right. That was a bushveld rain frog. That, on the other hand, is something completely different. But now for something completely different. So as you see, as soon as we get the camera close on something, it's so bright. I'm going to try and just go back away from that blade of grass. And where did it go?
To the left? There.
Oh, there. I'm hearing frogs all over now. Crash breeders are coming out. Those that only breed in the rains when they're puddles. They're just starting half-heartedly. But I can actually hear some of these bushveld rain frogs. Meow. Meow. So, there's another amphibian for my list. Rough skin. Okay, see if somebody can get that. No, it can't be right. The clock's wrong. I'm sorry. Somebody sped the clocks up. Ground beetle. Oh wow! It's like a night like this, I can't sleep because I know there's so much happening. So, common or rhombic egg eater, you can mark it on your list, but it doesn't count for my list as one of the snakes that occur here at Djuma Game Reserve. And as its name suggests, it eats birds' eggs. I'm hoping the guys that are driving tonight are watching the road carefully, because there are so many things on the road tonight. Did anybody come back with leopard earlier, or did I say that was part of my thingy? Okay. Leopard doesn't count. Big spider. Another one of the wolf spiders. It's deceiving because their eyes are so bright. For such a tiny thing like a spider. Short beetle. 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 Another bouncing animal next to that dung. Okay, we can't stop for these bouncing things anymore, much as I'd love to, unless I see one that's really unique. Slalom with all the beetles in the road. It is not a night for walking barefoot. Oh my word, look at these big ground beetles. service there, Impala. You know, driving past some of these animals that we see during the day, there's no need to show them to you. Does disturb them a little bit. Looking at some of the animals with... Hang on a second, are we in Gari Katan already? I missed it. Alright, I have to go this way. I wasn't concentrating. The rain frog that we saw, I'll tell you, one of the most unique features of that particular frog is the fact that they don't breed in water. Now I think she incubates, I've got to try and remember how they do things, those particular frogs, but what I can tell you is that you get glued to the back secretion that they have in their skin during because they're in water and he doesn't have to live enough to prosper like other frogs. It's becoming choppy here on Gari Katan for some reason. Never used to be. Gone again. Again. Hello Buffalo Bulls, excuse me, coming through. Hello boys, sorry to disturb your peaceful evening, thank you. Right next to the road, they didn't even move. So you didn't get what I was saying about the rain frog. I was saying that they have a unique feature in that during mating he doesn't have limbs long enough to hold onto her as other frogs and toads do. He gets glued to her back by a secretion from her skin, a white milky glue. All I can think of is that it's like a glue, and it's quite possible that the next time there's rain we'll see them mating. I think at the moment they probably, at the moment they're coming out to feed because they probably haven't been out for a while, like a year, no, 6 months, been sitting in a hole underground. So they need to feed up first, fatten up first before they get into breeding. Also, not too many puddles around. But now I can't remember how the rain frogs breed, because they live in areas where it's sandfelt, it's sandy ground. I think the tadpoles. No, I'm going to have to look it up again. There's so many different ways that some frogs breed. There are even some, although we don't get them here, there's some frogs where the male incubates the tadpoles in holes on his back. If I'm not mistaken, there's even a frog that incubates its tadpoles in its mouth. If I'm not mistaken, my brain's kind of giving me that information. But not here, that might be Indonesia or something. There We're back on Central Road and we're approaching the Mbubu Road, the lodge. Hadn't realized that we've spent so much time at the Leopard. I'm sorry, time kind of just doesn't really have much meaning when sometimes when you're sitting with things, and before you know it, a lot of time goes by. Linda Hunt, difference between Mozambique and bushveld rain frog. I'm not sure, maybe they're same name for, or different names for the same creature. Breviceps, isn't it? Breviceps mozambiquensis or something. What is a scientific name? Okay, thanks. Tara just confirming they are different species. But okay. So I must check, because as I say, I only know old names and things. I don't have my Vincent Carruthers. My book is Vincent Wagner, who isn't, I don't think, as up to date. Not him, I mean he must be up to date, but his old book is not as up to date as that of the was a rodent in the road and ran away. It was an easy rodent to identify because it had a white belly. Okay, I guess I better find out where I am. Well, not I am, but where they are. Radio is, I can't get onto the radio. There's a conversation that's been going for 10 minutes. Andrew, come in. Calling Andrew, but Henry, where were those Ngala left? Somebody could please relay, I didn't copy a word of that. Yeah, whereabouts on Mbubu Road? Thank you. I love the way these guys give directions. I've lost my life now. New tree over, and they're somewhat north, and now we've got to try and get through here with the antenna and hope we don't lose signal. Thank you, Lynn, Dr. Rita and Roy, for the raucous toad. Yes, that was the raucous toad. Considerably bigger, rough skin. Now the raucous toad, when it comes to mating, has actually got these, the male has got these oversized thumbs. And boy, has he got strong grip. I think I'm just smelling kill now.
Definitely.
Yeah, stomach contents, yeah. Spilt. Stomach contents and a lot of blood. This is what I heard this morning. But it looks like it's all over and done with, maybe. which means that they've probably gone down to the dam. Gee, I've really been having bad luck today. Maybe they're walking north on the road. Maybe they've gone to Gowrie Dam. No tracks here. Missed the elephants. Well, all I was trying to do was avoid the crowds, really. Oh well. Maybe if they go to the dam for a drink, because they might just do that from all that blood they've just eaten. Vivian, good call. I was thinking about it the other day. Fireside chat with the white sheet. It wouldn't really be a fireside chat. I'd turn it into what I would call a remarkable creature. Wouldn't need a fire for that. In fact, I wouldn't have a fire for that because half the insects would fly into the fire and I wouldn't want that. Oh, there's a vulture. Oh, there are no tracks here, so they didn't come this way. They must have gone to the dam. And I better turn around because I want to try and get over the dam wall. And the guests are already back at the lodge. So what I'll do is, if I see them, look, what was here, folks, were the talalas, 4 of them. And sometimes we make decisions like I did today about staying with the leopard cubs and hoping that they would do something. It took them a while, and they eventually did, but it meant that we didn't come here. And this was quite busy. There are a lot of landowners here. Weekend. So there were a number of vehicles driving around today, and it was a way to try and get here when everybody else was finished. Unfortunately, it looks like the lion have also finished and moved on. I don't even know what it is that they killed. I'm trying to think of the noise that I heard. What I can tell you is it was a grazer. Could have been a waterbuck, maybe. Or maybe, I don't know. It wasn't big enough to be a buffalo. And it didn't really sound like a buffalo. There's a primate. I'll do that another night. And this actually looks like it's eating sap. Okay, never mind. Oh, okay. I just want to get past this area again. I know we're running out of time and we're running over time. Left already. But just here on the edge of the road is where there's a lot of blood. I'm not even seeing a bone of sorts. There are all the bones. Not gonna get I'm not gonna get out and go and look at them now. Looks like it even could have been a nyala, those dark fur on the legs. That might make sense to what I heard today. I can't remember what time it was this morning. I just know that I heard something, and I stood at our neighbour's house, went to Nikki and Jess's house to try and get closer. To me it sounded like it was at room 8, but this is in a straight line from us over room 8 to this exact spot. So I know that this is what I heard. I just thought that it was in the bushes behind the lodge. It goes to show even during the day sound can travel. Okay, so they've gone. They're probably walking through this bush down to the dam. So I'm going to have to say goodbye, I'm afraid. So it's sad but true. So it looks like there were elephants at the dam today because that tree's pushed over. So before I go through this tree, I'm going to say goodbye. There's another little bush baby, but I'll do bush babies for my listeners tonight. They've gone already. So there we go. Wow, well, hope you enjoyed the leopards, and well, hopefully the other cats will be here tomorrow. They're around Gari Dam. There's a good chance that they might be in the area still tomorrow. My name is Mark. Seb has been on camera, and Tara in final control. It'll be Tara on this chair in this seat tomorrow, and Seb in final control. I'll be on camera. I hope to see you 6 o'clock Central African time. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Goodbye, Moon. See you tomorrow. He'll be a bit bigger tomorrow, but he won't be so close to Venus.
Hi everybody, this is Time Final Control, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. Did try and get to see the lions, but unfortunately I think with it being so dark they may have even just been out of sight, but who knows. Hopefully we'll see if we can try and find them tomorrow morning, and maybe see if we can catch up with Shavinzi and Shivambalana as well. So keep your fingers crossed. But don't go too far, just in case the guys do bump into the lions. I'm sure they will try and go live again if they do find them on the way back to camp. So don't go too far just yet. You never know. I'll let you know. I'll give you an announcement if they do find them and they do come back. But otherwise, see you again at 5:30 Central Africa time. I'll be heading out with Mark on camera